The broadcast is now starting.
Welcome everyone to this secure webinar. We're going to be waiting just a couple of more minutes and let everyone log on, but we're very excited for you to be with us today. Wonderful. So it is 12:01 and we are going to get started. As the next couple of minutes go by and we have more people joining us, I would like to start with one housekeeping notice. Just as logistics, this is a screenshot of the attendee interface. You should be seeing something like this on your screen right now. Computer audio is used by default, but you do have an option to be listening over your phone. And if you would like to do that, see the first arrow, select audio, and switch to phone call at this time. You'll be able to dial in with the information it provides to you. Throughout the webinar, we will also be answering questions. There is a chat box for questions on this panel, and we ask that you enter your questions throughout the webinar here. So during our question and answer time, we can go through all of the questions as a group. This webinar is being recorded, and you will receive a copy of the recording at the end of the webinar. And if there is anyone on your parish staff who you would like to also be viewing this webinar, we will be able to send that recording to them as well. Thank you all for joining us today. At this time, we would like to start with prayer, and I'm going to invite Andrea Pinnell to lead us in this prayer.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, we pray. O Mary, you shine continuously on our journey as a sign of salvation and hope. We entrust ourselves to you, health of the sick. At the foot of the cross, you participate in Jesus' pain with steadfast faith. You, salvation of the Roman people, know what we need. We are certain that you will provide, so that, as you did at Cana of Galilee, joy and feasting might return after this moment of trial. Help us, Mother of Divine Love, to conform ourselves to the Father's will and to do what Jesus tells us. He who took our sufferings upon himself and bore our sorrows to bring us through the cross to the joy of the resurrection. Amen. We take refuge under your protection, O Holy Mother of God. Do not despise our pleas, we who are put to the test, and deliver us from every danger, O glorious and blessed Virgin. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Well, welcome everyone. I am Andrea Pennell, Episcopal Moderator of Development and Planning. I have been with the diocese for a little over 10 years, and I've had the opportunity to work with many of you on a variety of projects. I'm probably more known for the Bishop's Annual Appeal. I'm kind of the goal lady, so the one who delivers the bad news of goals. But I have had the joy of working with a few of you on your capital campaigns, conducting feasibilities with you. And so today, I am truly excited about the program that we are introducing to you. Before I begin, I would like to take a quick minute to thank our Bishop, Robert Brennan, for allowing us to bring this program to the Diocese of Columbus free of cost. This has been a very important partnership for us, and so I am looking forward to this webinar and the weeks to come. The agenda today is going to include just a brief discussion about the challenges presented by COVID-19 and the impact that it is having on our parishes. And then we will delve into the details of the Secure program and what parishes participating in this program are to expect. And we're going to allow plenty of time for questions, so please don't worry about that. I would like to take a quick minute to introduce to you our team at the Office of Development and Planning. We have our parish support coordinators along with Fred Shane and Gina Diederich, who you have met on different occasions. Gina is our census manager and Fred is our data manager. Who we don't have up here is Tiffany Hayden, who we have added to our team and who will be conducting the webinars for schools, which we are really excited about. But as your parish support coordinators, Wendy Piper, who is our associate director, along with Gina Zenz, Sue Roberts, Andrea Lopez, and Miriam Garcia, will be there to help you throughout this process and to support each of our parishes. I would also like to take some time to do a very quick introduction. I'm actually going to have Ellen introduce CCS fundraising to you all, and they are the ones who have customized the Secure product for us. CCS has been, and especially Ellen and Brian, have been phenomenal throughout these past few weeks. And so Ellen, if you could introduce the team to everyone.
Thanks, Andrea. So CCS Fundraising is a strategic fundraising firm with over 70 years of experience. We were founded specifically to help Catholic parishes and Catholic dioceses throughout capital and fundraising campaigns. And now, in addition to working with the Catholic Church, we work across the nonprofit sector. As Andrea said, we've partnered with the Diocese of Columbus in this time of fractured community and real challenges that we're facing in our parishes. We understand that there's a lot going on in our parishes, both on the sides of ministry and on offertory. So we are here to help implement this elective program, Secure, as a way to promote community in your parishes and to help you maintain offertory at this time. On this team for CCS fundraising that we have for the Diocese of Columbus, we have Lindsay Marciniak and Brad Patterson, who provide leadership and oversight to our team through this project. Brian and I will be providing daily service to the development team and to all of the parishes who choose to participate in this campaign, and we will be communicating with you regularly. So before we go into the meat of this campaign, we have a quick audience poll, and we just want to get an idea of who is on this call and how are we best going to serve your needs today. So this is an interactive poll, and our first question is, who is on the phone with us today? So if you could please select one of the following: pastor, finance parish council member, business manager, or other/parish staff or parish volunteer. To select your answer, please just click the white button next to the word and press submit. Give it just 10 more seconds. Okay. So with us today, it looks like we have a lot of parish staff. About 2/3 are parish staff. Even more because business managers are also part of our parish staff. And 20% of us are pastors today. Our next question is, how are you feeling about your parish or mission's financial status as a result of this crisis? We are in crisis and need to find solutions immediately. We have real concerns but are figuring it out as we go. Or we feel good, we are ahead of the curve despite challenges. Give it 5 more seconds. And here are our results. We have 79% have real concerns but are figuring it out as we go. And 20%, so about a fifth of us, are feeling good, ahead of the curve despite challenges. I think this is a really good landscape for us as we move forward. Part of this program, we really want to be communicating best practices and what's working for each parish so that we can build off of one another's success. So as we work with parishes to address those very real concerns, it will be great for us to look at examples across the whole community, the whole Diocese of Columbus, to see how we can best serve your community specifically. And we have one more poll to do. And it is, which aspect of parish revenue is most in need of at this time? So which of the following, offertory, special revenue from events or fundraisers, maybe a parish picnic, or other, is most need to be addressed at your parish right now? Do 5 more seconds. And our results, the majority of parishes need to be addressing offertory needs right now, but we still have about a quarter looking to address special revenue and 12% with other categories. So we can see that there's diversity among even the attendees here today, which is why part of this program is making specialized goals for each parish and seeing what needs need to be addressed in a specific and one-on-one way. So as we take those results, we want those to frame our mindset moving forward on this project. But first, I'm going to have Andrea speak a little bit more to what really brought us to a point of needing secure.
Yes, it has been extremely important, this partnership for us with CCS. You know, our goal with the Office of Development and Planning was from the very start to build a team that could give real-time focused support to our parishes and our schools. And we believe that we have done this. With the challenges of COVID-19, we saw masses suspended. And I don't think that any of us really kind of understood that this would not be something that only took about 2 weeks off from church, that we suddenly were going week after week, day after day. And so as we move through this time of suspended masses. And even in our anticipation of reopening, at least partially on May 30th, the weekend of May 30th and 31st, we kind of return to parish life knowing that it will not be as we knew before COVID-19. We overall, and Ellen will talk a little bit more about this, but overall we've seen about a 25 to 30% decrease in our weekly offertory. And right now the finance department, and we're working towards gathering information so that we can come up with some more concrete numbers as it pertains to April in particular. But overall right now we are seeing that some are doing pretty well and others are having some real tough times. But overall, we're seeing about a 30% decline. So as we look at our ministry and our needing to adjust ministries and really adjust our own personal lives throughout this time of social distancing, you know, we have to remember that we're trying to keep our loved ones safe and healthy, as well as finding ways to address our fractured communities right now. And so we have these questions that continue to be raised amongst our communities. How will this affect our parishes long term? Are we really ever going to be able to go back to the communities as we knew them before? And how long is this going to last? Is this a year? Is this 2 years? But no one kind of knows. This is all very unfamiliar territory for us. Also, how can we continue to be spiritually close in this time of physical distancing? And so a huge challenge for us at this time is stewardship. How do we engage our faith community in a way that shares our time, our talents, and our treasures? How do we continue on with our stewardship? And so the routine of passing the basket that nudged us to be reminded, oh, this is time for us to share in this way, isn't really there for us any longer. And so how do we begin to support each other and support our parishes in terms of our stewardship? And so Ellen's going to talk to us a little bit more about the crisis as it affects our offertory, but I want to give us a quick look at our parishes today. As we did just kind of a scan of all of our parishes, we noticed that 73% of our parishes have an updated bulletin online, and this is great. But 31% of our parishes, only 31 mention giving or offertory in the bulletins. So it's great that everyone is posting, or the majority of us are posting updated bulletins, but only 31% of us are mentioning online giving in those bulletins. It is also a great number to see that 92% of our parishes have websites, yet 37% lack access to online giving for their parishioners. So it's great that we have websites, but do we have an opportunity for people to use that platform to be able to continue their stewardship to the parish? We noticed this number and we had people calling our office asking about how people could give. And so we did set up the Extreme Giving or Extreme Charity platform for those parishes that do not have any type of online giving. But again, we were looking at this as a temporary fix. We want people to be able to give to their parishes. And so it was important that we paid attention to this number also. And 33% of our parishes are not streaming Mass. Well, that does say that 69% are, but of that 69%, 92% of those parishes do not mention offertory during their streamed Mass. We also saw that 49% of our parishes have no encouragement of giving or discussing offertory over the entire digital platform that they have. And so as we begin to re-engage our communities, you know, we do realize that there is a time and a place to be able to talk about our stewardship and especially our treasure. But without the basket, without that ritual, without that routine, we have to find ways to reintroduce giving to our parishioners and to provide them with every opportunity to live out their stewardship. The reality is giving is a spiritual practice when it comes to giving out of our desire to glorify God and to build his kingdom. And so we are a people who live by routine, and we need that little nudge to remind us. So I'm going to allow Ellen to talk to you a little bit more about how this crisis has affected our overall offertory.
Thanks, Andrea. So all of you joining us today are intimately involved in your parishes, and so I don't think any of what I'm about to go through will be that surprising to you, as this has been a firsthand account from parishes that we've seen across the country. So as Andrea said, the average diocesan decrease that we've seen in the Diocese of Columbus is about 30%. Of a difference from when masses were publicly suspended to now. So that means that if a parish has an average annual offertory of about $600,000, every month $15,000 is being lost in revenue, which in most parishes means our operating costs. Now, the Diocese of Columbus is averaging 30%. The average that we've seen across the diocese that we work with is closer to 45%. So some of the parishes here are doing really well, from previous pushes to switch to electronic giving and just great communication models. But as we know with averages, that could mean that some of our parishes are doing much better than just 30%, and some parishes are experiencing much more hardship than 30%. And so that's one of the reasons, again, that we wanted to create and bring a program from the diocesan offices to each parish in a very specialized and concentrated way. So from that, we get this program, SECURE. SECURE stands for Support, Evaluate, Connect, Utilize Resources, and Engage. It primarily is a program in which we will offer, it's an elective program, we will offer support to each parish in a few different ways. The first way is weekly webinars over the next 8 weeks. We will be providing webinars on different topics to help you engage your parishioners and to increase offertory at your parishes. A main component of this is partnership through the Diocesan Development Office with parish support coordinators for one-on-one meetings with your parishes. This meeting could be the pastor, the business manager, parts of your finance council, or other volunteers that you enlist to help you at this time. But during these meetings, we're going to go through your current situation, the current tools you have at your disposal, needs that you have, or wants of maybe streaming mass, and how do you get there, so that we can work hand in hand with you so that you can accomplish these goals. Part of our goal is to increase how we interact with one another digitally. In communities that we can increase digital engagement and a feeling of belongingness on either online platforms or even through mailings, if you have a community that isn't completely digital, we'll see an increase in participation. We want to make sure that during this time of social distancing, parishes and our parish communities stay at the front of our mind. I know Andrea already kind of touched on this with passing the basket, but as a Catholic, I know that I really appreciate when things are brought to me. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I give to my parish when the basket is passed to me. I'm prompted to think, how can I support my community at this time? The other way I see this is I read about my parish in the bulletin when I'm leaving Mass and it's handed to me. So at this time, we're also thinking of ways that we can do that digitally. Rather than just posting our bulletin online, how can we, say, email it to them or allow it to be picked up in a way that is safe to encourage people to read what's going on at our parishes? We can post all we want, but we need to make sure that we're doing it in a way that engages people. So what is SECURE? SECURE is focused, it's short-term, and it's to provide parishes with real times to support, to connect with your parishioners, and to open channels for alternative giving. This program is not a campaign. How does it work? We will assess your current capabilities and your ongoing needs. We'll have a customized plan in consultation with you to make sure that we are creating a plan that fits your community. Again, this is free. We come together weekly to reach goals, to learn new skills, and to do any training for you and your office support staff that you need. And then finally, we come together weekly at webinars to evaluate the outcomes, to share best practices, and to do further training. What can you expect from joining us on this project? Every week we'll have 2 to 3 weekly steps that again are special to your parish to improve parishioner engagement and giving. We'll have hands-on assistance with your social media and communications. We'll help you track your revenue and benchmark goals. We can also provide speaking points and training materials to you and your parish. Part of this is also making sure that our data is up to date. So I'm going to bring Andrea back in to talk about parish census.
Hi, so Gina Diederich is our census manager, and she has been working with a number of you on census cleanup. We also have PariSoft, which is a part of our office, where we have opportunities for parishes to be a part of a shared database. And with that comes certain kind of guidelines and standard operating procedures that we're asking of everyone. And what we notice is that the parish census has become critically important to moving forward in digital communities. It was always important in being able to evangelize in your communities, but right now it is even more important to know who is coming up for the sacraments. So how many people have children that have been baptized that we want to make sure that they continue with their sacraments throughout this time, that we may not necessarily see them all the time in Mass. We also want to know communities in terms of groupings and in terms of age and in interest, so that we can help to evangelize to them also and keep the community connected. And so in conducting census, we find that using mail, using snail mail to send out letters is pretty effective, especially when you don't really have good preferred contact information in your system. Phone trees, the old school phone tree has come back. We actually created a document called the Call Tree Comeback that's on our web pages that we started with the Extreme Charity Project, because we realized that the phone tree was really our central lifeline, especially for those who don't have internet access. And email trees are also important, but the enlistment of volunteers is critically important when you are talking about cleaning up your census, and working with the PSCs to execute that plan is available to you. We want to look at updating that data, and it's really important that when you are making calls and looking to update data, that we have a real clear understanding of what it is that we want to update. If we are calling because we are trying to get contact information for a text messaging system or some other communication system, it's important that the caller knows that we need to make sure we have an understanding of the telephone number we have. Is it a landline, or is it a cell phone line? Simple questions like that and understandings will help you to make your phone calls and contact much more much more directed. And so we want to make sure that we know what data it is that we are looking to get. And then having a clear understanding of who to send those changes to. And in our office, it is Gina Diederich, but you can work through your parish support coordinator, but also within your parishes, those who are migrated, make sure that we know who we are sending those corrections to, and that they are aware. I've had more secretaries call and say, no one told me that there was a census cleanup. And so make sure that we are communicating to our staff and those people that are responsible for maintaining the data that we are doing this. And so really after we get that data cleaned up, how are we going to maintain that? And so our office is here for you to help to provide you with any guidance, any data that you need, the data sheets or just spreadsheets to help you to be able to begin those calls. We've had a couple parishes that have already started, and it's really appreciated. And it is critical to the success of this program as you move forward.
Another aspect of our program is having specific parish plans. So on the screen, you can see a sample parish plan. We identify goals together one-on-one to make sure that they match your needs. So on this plan, you can see that we wanted to refine a Facebook page and help draft new content weekly. We're going to be posting regular e-bulletin with online giving encouragement, establish the ability to live stream Mass, and to send written communication to parishioners about online giving and weekly offertory. These are just a sample of goals that we might secure for your parish during this time. That being said, we will be working on everything from helping parishes host Zoom Bible study meetings if you're focusing on ministry, to setting up online giving portals. This is a parish plan that we will be talking about in your first one-on-one meeting with your parish support coordinator, and we really welcome your input to make sure that it fits you and your parish family at this time. The other thing that we start this program off with is a simple parish inventory. So this checklist will be shared with you if you choose to participate in the Secure program. And these are easy steps for us to start building that foundation to bring your offertory back up and increase digital engagement. Part of this is making sure that we include information about offertory in ways that are succinct and that fit our communities. So it's great if we have an online giving button on the website. We want to make sure it's easy to find, and we also want to guide people there. So as we guide our parishioners, maybe by the end of our Mass, making a short announcement to remember their tithe, that helps take place of passing the basket. And so these steps here are a checklist that we'll go through with you to see what you're doing, what we could improve on, and what we can start doing at your parishes. So upcoming, this week we have a series of introduction webinars. Obviously, we're all on the first one listed today. We have another one tomorrow if you'd like anyone on your parish staff to join us. It will be at 12:30 p.m. and the link to register is in the same documents that you registered for this one. And then we have a webinar specific for schools on Friday, May 8th at 9:30 a.m. Please complete the survey if you have not already. We're looking for one per parish. If you do duplicate at your parish, it's not a big deal. So at the risk of not filling it out, it's better if we have 2 from your parish than 0. We're going to have a sign up for one-on-one meetings with parish support coordinators. This will come from an email after this webinar. During that first one-on-one meeting, Brian and I from CCS will join and will help develop individualized parish plans and a timeline for the next few weeks so that we can work on those plans with you. And then we'll have a set of tools to review after this webinar for us to move forward quickly. We understand that right now, every weekend that we miss with outreach is a weekend of offertory that's lower than it should be. And so after this webinar, we'll also be sending a few tips to start right away to help strengthen your offertory and engagement at this time. So those immediate resources, we'll have that inventory conversation during the one-on-one meeting with someone from the Secure team. We'll be giving a virtual communications guide that teaches simple how-tos with Zoom, Facebook, and other meeting and posting sites. You'll also receive a copy of this presentation. Coming up, you'll have the customized parish strategy, a revenue toolkit, and regular updates and lessons learned, in addition to regular webinars and regular one-on-one check-ins with the Secure staff. At this time, I want to open it up for questions. So we've given an overview of Secure to this point, but I know that many of the parishes will have particular questions to your community. If there are any questions that you don't want to ask now and would rather have a one-on-one conversation with, we'll have our contact information coming up on the last slide. But at this time, I'm going to unmute everyone. So feel free, once it will give you an option to stay muted or to use your microphone. If you have a question, feel free to ask it to the group. And it looks like we have some questions in the chat. I see we have a question that if you are not on ParishSoft, do you have to switch to ParishSoft?
No. You do not have to switch to Parishes. Parishes is just available for parishes who do not want to send those blue data sheets into us anymore to update information in the shared database with the diocese. But no one, Parishes is not mandatory.
Okay. Oops.
Ellen, I can't see the chat, so.
Yeah, the other questions we have are mostly comments. So Kathy Hamilton, you said we're a little bit concerned, but we feel good because of what our pastor is doing. And I think that is a really great point to make right now, is that pastors, 20% of the people on this call right now, you are our shepherds. And we just celebrated Good Shepherd Sunday. And what a great image for us at this time as we're going through such an unknown moment. Thank you for your continued support. Thank you for praying for us at Mass, even when we can't be there. And we really look forward to partnering with you and your parishes at this time. And I think that as a parishioner, I can say that one of the most important things that I've seen from my home parish is my pastor talking about hope and talking about our community. And so that is a huge aspect of this, of continuing your pastoral leadership during this time and making sure that your parishioners are able to receive it in any way possible. We have another question. Where do you find the link for the survey? I will be sending out that link once again after this webinar to make sure everyone has it at the top of their inbox. So you'll be receiving an email from edolby@ccsfundraising.com, and the survey link will be provided there. It was also provided on Friday's announcement from Father Lump, which includes a letter from Bishop Brennan. You can find it in that email as well. Jacob Lammers wrote, great resources from the diocese. Thank you. Thank you, Jacob. I think partnership at this time and building our community is really important. And we truly appreciate everything that the Development and Planning Office has done for parishes. Tomorrow, the webinar will be a repeat of this one. And from that point on, each week we'll have a different webinar. On Friday, the webinar will be different. It will be geared towards schools. So this week is just introductory. Next week, we'll start heavier content on webinars.
And this is Andrea. I should also mention that we are working to put together materials for those of you who have Hispanic communities and ministries within your parishes. So we're looking forward to putting together materials and even webinars for you guys also to be fully supported.
Mm-hmm. Pamela Harris asked, will materials include other forms of communication for those who are not connected via the internet, such as postcards, etc.? Yes, we will work with whatever tools your parish needs. And so part of that, if we know our parishioners are offline, is making sure that we can reach them offline. So we can talk more about that on a one-on-one meeting, but we will have materials for that as well.
I think it's really, really important for those, and I've been in these conversations quite a bit. It's important that we have live streaming. It's important that we have connections on Facebook. It's important that we have social media and digital connections, but it is also critically important that we have an opportunity to reach out to our community that is not and will not be on the digital World Wide Web or internet or anything else. And that community is rich to us and important. And so having phone calls made and cards sent out, and that is why the census is so incredibly important. I've worked with one parish where we found out that there were a number of deceased individuals still on the roll, and calling those homes and asking for people that were deceased just was really uncomfortable. But having the opportunity to continue to talk to them was really, it was healing for many people. And so we were even talking to people who were not Catholic, but whose spouse may have been Catholic and attended regularly. And so it was good for them to see a side of the community still caring about the family, even though maybe they weren't attending anymore. So census is extremely important to this process, not only for the digital side, but also just for the connection that we make to our parishioners.
Definitely. And I think a really good point of this also is not only building our community and our parishes, but amongst one another. And so throughout this whole process, we will ask parishes, especially if you're here on this webinar today, to share your success, your ideas, your positive feedback as we go through this together. And there will be opportunities in the future to showcase some of those good works that we're doing at each of the parishes. Andrea, we have a question, and maybe we can speak to it a little bit, or I don't know if you want to connect offline about this. We have a question from Jackie Sichone. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name correctly. Where are we at with the BAA for 2020-2021?
Well, we just finished the calendar for the Bishop's Annual Appeal, and that we communicated to pastors that we would hold off until July for that. We actually are doing the early solicitation part, which is our Miter Society, in mid-June. And so actually the peer support coordinators have that information today, and we are sending that out. We're going to do a lot more of probably some weekly communications, but yes, the BAA actually will be kind of kicking itself off in mid-June, and we're preparing those materials now. We also want to make sure that within the program plans that we are putting together for you guys with CCS, that we include anything that make you aware of the schedule, so that we can include some of those things if need be in your plans, which will be totally up to you and your pastor. I hope that answered.
Wonderful. So that exhausts the questions we've received in the chat. We'll keep it for 2 more minutes open for questions. And during that time, I'm going to talk about our final slide, which is just contact information. So if you have any questions at this point that you were not able to ask during this webinar, or if you need follow-up throughout the next few weeks, feel free to contact myself or Andrea. Our emails are listed here, and you will also be receiving an email from me after this webinar. Feel free to call as well. Our follow-up steps at this point will be to sign up for one-on-one meetings that will come from the email following this webinar. And during that time, we'll be creating parish plans for you and giving 3 action items for the weekend. If you have any colleagues or brother priests who you think should attend one of these webinars, feel free to tell them that we have another one going on tomorrow at 12:30 as an introduction. School's webinar Friday at 9:30. If they need the link or any information on the webinar, feel free to contact the Office of Development and Planning, and they will be able to get you that link as well. We look forward to working with you. We're excited for this partnership, and we're excited to be supporting the community, the Catholic community in the Diocese of Columbus. And I think that the next few weeks will prove to be very great for our parishes. So thank you all for joining, and let us know if we can be of any help during these next weeks.
Thank you all.